This is kind of way out of my normal videos, but I'm kind of upset about the situation and mostly just wanted to rant. I'm doing an older Speedpaint too since I didn't have time to record a new one for it. I was actually debating on doing a video on this at all, but I just want to vent, you know? So what's going on? Watcher, if you don't know, is BuzzFeed Unsolved. This was a ghost hunting show and true crime. I only watched the ghost hunting show because I don't really like true crime, but after BuzzFeed they went off to make their own channel. I don't watch all their shows. I watch Ghost Files, Are You Scared, and sometimes Too Many Spirits, but I enjoyed it a lot more. They were more authentic and longer than the BuzzFeed ones, and that's like two things you really want from a YouTube channel. And honestly, they were probably the first channel to really get me interested in YouTube. Before that, it was like maybe a FNAF game theory every once in a while, or how it should have ended. But after binging after binging BuzzFeed, I got really into the YouTube channel stuff and started subscribing to more people. But anyways, the current problem is that they've made an unwanted announcement that they're going to start a new streaming service and post there instead. This streaming service is $6 USD a month, and I quote, affordable to everyone everywhere. I'm making a face, but you can't see it. For a little extra tidbit, I'm Canadian, and that's about $10 a month with taxes and conversion. That's about the same amount as Amazon Prime, and I get TV and free one-day delivery with that. Watcher isn't giving me free one-day delivery, okay? So of course, people are rightfully pissed, especially since in the goodbye video they made, the ending felt very uncaring. For those of you who choose not to follow, goodbye. And like, it was just hurtful. Like, it felt like their fans didn't matter to them anymore, which was really unexpected if you watch Watcher. They're very homebody, eat the rich kind of vibe, so it was just completely out of left field. Which is like a new slang I learned, by the way, thanks younglings. Now, some of the reasons that they state for this is that they don't want to rely on ads and sponsorships anymore, but they also want to do high-quality TV content. They were explaining they have 25 employees and their shows are expensive. Ghost Files can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars a season, but to be fair, that is also their most popular show. That is the reason most people follow them. So their decision was, instead of just cutting back costs and having a long discussion about what is worth it and what not, they've decided to take our money. Love that. Especially since they had like a whole countdown to their announcement on Twitter, like, new change is coming, get ready, and then they're like, we want your money. It's not fun. Nobody wanted that. Especially since a lot of us don't watch their stuff for high quality TV content. It is good content, like it's pretty high quality in some aspects, but a lot of us just watch it because we like Shane and Ryan. We like them being goofy. And one of their most popular shows is just a puppet talking about history. Of course, Ghost Files is popular too, like let's not get that out. But that also probably makes the money it earns back, versus some of their other shows where they're going off and traveling for other things. They might not make the same money, and they do have a lot of shows. What they could do is just cut back on the shows that don't do as well, and just focus on 3 big ones for now and then branch off a bit more. It just feels like they started off too big. Also, I just want to point out, a lot of comments on their videos were suggesting they just do a Patreon and have some exclusive content instead of changing everything. Fun fact, they do have a Patreon, and last time I checked they had 12,000 subscribers at a minimum tier of $5, I think. It shows Canadian for me at $7.50, but I've seen others say $5. Anyway, since most of you are likely American watching this, I'm just going to go with USD. That is a minimum of $60,000 a month, most people's salaries, if they're lucky. That is a minimum of $1 million a year, and that doesn't include their higher tiers. This is only their minimum tiers. Their highest tier is actually $100 a month. Canadian. I'm not sure about the USD for that one, but I don't know, like 75, maybe? Oh, I'm not a math person. I had to redo this a few times because my math was wrong. But anyways, this doesn't include Patreon fees, but it's still quite a bit of money. Because this is just from Patreon. This does not include their YouTube ad revenue, their sponsors, their tours, their merch. And with their tours, from what I've seen, they're almost always sold out. This is like a lot of money. This is a lot more money than a lot of us will ever see in our lifetime. In fact, just for context, a locally owned restaurant on average makes about $1.2 million a year in America, from my quick research. That's just about the same amount of money they make just from Patreon. And restaurants also have a lot of employees and expensive equipment and other expenses they have to keep up. It just all kind of feels like untrue, in my opinion. Which, by the way, all this like math and quick Google research, it's not exact. I am not the best math person, and everything stating here is just in my opinion and what I'm speculating on. Thank you. Just add that. As well, they apparently didn't give any notice to their Patreon subscribers that everything was going to be changing, and overnight they started pledging to a different kind of channel. It's more like about their podcast instead of their actual YouTube channel. So a lot of Patreon people were not getting what they were promised, but Watcher was still taking their money, especially for a few people that I saw complaining that had the 1-year subscription. And just to add to this tone deafness, they also have an upcoming show where their CEO is going to travel across the world and eat the most expensive foods imaginable. Like, can you imagine just complaining that we don't have enough money, so we have to go and do this instead? But also, we're also just going to travel the world and taste expensive food, especially when that wasn't their main content in the first place. From what I've seen, that is coming from one of the BuzzFeed people, like the CEO is also in BuzzFeed, he's just not the main two. And he's coming from that show where they did that, where they got BuzzFeed's money, but instead they're asking for our money to do it instead. When a lot of people, as noted in the comments, can't afford this. A lot of people are younger students, high school students even, or maybe just people that can't find work right now because it's a very troubling market. But don't worry, $6 is affordable to everyone. And I've also seen a lot of other people commenting that they didn't do a price difference for international. So whereas like Netflix or Disney Plus might change their price regionally because sometimes the conversion doesn't always work, they didn't do that. So it's a lot of money internationally. So not only are they losing people like younger people or just people who can't afford it or people that don't want another streaming service, they're also just losing all their international fans. Like, this wasn't helpful in any way, shape, or form. I don't know what will happen. I personally am hoping they will realize their mistake and do an apology. Of course, there's still going to be some people who have their trust betrayed, but Ryan and Shane are generally likable enough that I feel like they could get away with a genuine apology and if they revert back to what they were going on and try to find other ways to cut costs. But a lot of speculation is that this backlash was expected and they're just hoping to get enough people to help them run their business. Even if like 10% of them do, it's still quite a bit of money. So the only way to really combat it is just to not subscribe. Or, as a lot of people were saying, just pirate it. Or watch it in 14 parts on TikTok, which is what I'll probably be doing. But even if they get that 10%, I don't think it's going to last them for the long run. Because without the YouTube algorithm and less word of mouth going on since they have less followers, they're just not going to get as many new people. They're not going to have as many new people wanting to subscribe to them as well, especially since they're a YouTube channel. They're not an actual television channel. So in the long run, this business will fail just like its predecessors, Rooster Teeth. Yeah, so that was just kind of heartbreaking, especially since a lot of people really liked them and they were just, no one had any issues with them. This is probably one of their big first scandals. So it's just heartbreaking to see. You never want to meet your heroes, guys. We didn't even meet our heroes this time. They just happen to throw it at us. And just a reminder, everything stated here has been in speculation and from what I can find online, as well as other opinions I've seen in the comments. I do not have access to any of their financials or how much anything really costs. Just as a reminder, I could be incorrect about everything, but this is just from what we, the average viewer, can see. Thank you all for watching. Let me know if you think I should do more videos like this, and remember to check out my webtoon, and I have the Mother Time, which is my drawing here, prints in my bio. So thank you, remember to subscribe, bye!